resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared and Brian Held. Heard live on News Talk 99.5 WRNO and the iHeartRadio app. Here are your hosts, Brian Held and D. Squared.
Greetings, people of Earth. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared, with
Brian Held.
How are you, buckaroo?
Like every single weekend, I'm wore out, man.
Why? You don't do anything. You walk around shaking babies and kissing hands.
Okay, so on Friday night, we were out at the New Orleans Baby Cakes game for Marvel Superhero Night.
Shaking babies, kissing hands again.
Well, we were all dressed up. I dressed up as Wolverine.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I did. I tried to get into the costume deal, right?
Oh, okay. Is that something new you're trying?
Well, it was the easiest thing I could put together.
Oh, okay.
But we had a great time. And then last night, Katie, our project manager, and I drove up to Shreveport for the wedding of Jesse Broughton and Tyler Gillespie. They're friends of mine. They are huge cosplayers with Team Uber Geeks Cosplay, and it was a cosplay wedding. It was fantastic.
Now you get to the crux of it.
Yeah, and of course, Katie being there put me to work, and we got interview audio from Remy Domino Cosplay and ineedsugar Cosplay, who were the Best in Show winners at Mechacon that other weekend. So we're going to hear that as our interview, yeah.
Well, there you go. All right, well, let's lay out the show then. We'll open up with top nerd news, followed by our boy Skungy and his pick of the week, and then the interview.
Right, and then we'll close it all out with This Week in Geek History.
That is correct. But first... And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world, brought to you by the Viridian Tea Company. Find them on Etsy. And now, your top nerd news stories. All right, Brian, what's topping us off tonight?
Well, I think we need to get the ugly stuff out of the way first, all right?
Okay.
And you and I were talking about this before the show. There's been a lot of unfortunate violence in the country here recently. And as a response, Universal has scrapped the Hunt release following the gun violence uproar. And, we were talking about this. It's a tough call, but I think it's reactionary at best.
Here's the thing. I don't know how, if they can win. If they release the movie, they seem insensitive. If they don't release the movie, they seem, just reactionary, like you're saying. But this is one of those things where if you want to bring something like this to light or to discuss it, you make movies. That's what satire is. And this is clearly satire because it's based on, it's kind of like the trope is, a bunch of strangers are being hunted by some rich elite and being killed for sport. Now, you've had that storyline before. It's nothing like groundbreaking, but, they put a little twist on it that it's, I think it's like immigrants and elite liberals is what it said. Something like that in the article.
The quote from the article, the violent movie from producer Jason Blum's Blumhouse Productions follows a dozen individuals who wake up in a clearing and realize they're being stalked for sport by elite liberals.
And Blumhouse, that's a great movie house that's done a lot of great new things. They're the Purge people, and then Happy Death Day. They take older tropes, but they kind of put a new spin on them. Basically, Happy Death Day is, the Groundhog Day if there was murders,
Right.
But with this movie, I think it looks as if it was something that they wanted to put out there to start a conversation. And not knowing anything about all the shootings that have gone around, who knows the minds of these people? And the other portion is that if you want to discuss it, put those movies out there. Let people have the dialogue, and just kind of, prayers and thoughts and hashtags ain't going to cut it, man.
Well, you bring up a good point. The best way to deal with any sort of situation is education,
right,
and discussion. And when I look at stuff like this, and the following article we're going to talk about in a second too follows the same premise, is that I think back to the 1980s with the Satanic Panic.
Right.
I played Dungeons and Dragons. I started when I was 10 years old. And my mom took away my books for a while because the Catholic Church said it was a gateway into Satanism.
Well, and that's kind of like what Walmart has done, that they have taken down all signage that is involving violent gun shooter, first-person shooter video games. And initially the story came out that they were pulling the games from the shelves. But they've just pulled down the advertising, all the little, the little billboards and things that go on the aisles and on the end caps and stuff like that. But what is that going to do? I mean, it's cartoon violence.
Well,
it's something where I don't know who it's supposed to be making feel good. It's not going to make anybody feel better to not see this when you can go 4 aisles down and find the shotguns and all the crossbows and all the hunting equipment you could possibly need.
Right. I think this sort of reactionary behavior does not take place of good discussion, good education, and I mean parenting, right? It falls on the parents to be paying attention to what their kids are playing and have those discussions with those kids. And and you and I talked about it before the show. These people who are doing these things are not sitting around playing video games.
No, and that's something else. The reason I wanted to bring all this stuff up though too is because there was another article that pissed me off. ESPN is not going to host the Apex Legends tournament because it's a first-person shooter, and they're going to cancel the tournament because out of respect for the mass shootings. Respect for whom? I mean, I don't. It's just an excuse to lay it at the doorstep of these violent video games and just like the satanic panic, but also if this is the conversation we had before we came in studio, was that a lot of these people who have done these shootings, they're not the ones that are sitting out here playing video games. It's not Apex Legends or Fortnite or Doom that's setting these people off and making them go shoot people. It's whatever the hell they're reading and getting indoctrinated into. Their social circles, whoever the hell, dark web sites they're going to eat all this crap and then just go spew it everywhere. And then when they, either don't get the respect or nobody listens to what they're saying because it all sounds like, horse crap, well, then they snap and they go lose their goddamn minds. And I think maybe part of me is just a little overly sensitive because it always seems like we're the easy scapegoats, the video games, the gaming community. It's always we're the scapegoats. And I think at 44 years of age, I'm like, bleep them right in there, bleep and bleep, because I'm fed up with the crap. I'm tired of being their friggin' scapegoat.
Yeah. Well, and, it's always easiest to take, just even like heavy metal got the same thing, right?
Right.
KISS stands for what? Knights in Satan's Service, right?
Right.
And the thing is that those things can't really defend themselves, right? A video game can't defend itself.
Right.
So it's easy just to lay the blame and then that's the problem.
Well, but then I guess, what, the other thing that sets me off, and I mean, I kind of wanted to have this conversation with you on the air because I feel it works better because, I feel like the Walmarts and the ESPNs and the Apex Legends. I mean, I don't know if Apex Legends had any conversation in their tournament being not aired on ESPN, but it's always the corporate structures that are like, oh, we got to make sure we seem, perfectly sympathetic to the cause, and it's just these reactions where it's like, we stand with you, but do you think anyone we're going to turn around and spend a dime on like mental health or any of these kind of things, or good common sense gun legislation? I mean, whatever side of the line you fall down on, none of these big companies that are doing this thing like Blumhouse and the is it Universal? Yeah, it's Universal.
Yes.
What are they doing? No, we just don't want to piss anybody off. We don't want anybody to be angry at our movie. Heaven forbid.
Dave, we can't affect the bottom line, nor can we do disservice to our shareholders.
Right. Well, that's probably exactly what one of their press releases said. But I mean, I think that's what just kind of got really under my skin, where it's like, look, I have all the sympathy in the world for these people that are being just massacred for no goddamn reason.
Right.
And I think everybody understands that. But then when people just lash out and just grab onto the easiest scapegoat they've got, as opposed to looking in the mirror or having discussions and maybe putting out a movie that is already satirical in nature that should provoke conversations. No, just shelve it. We're too scared. We don't want to have that conversation. Have the uncomfortable goddamn conversations.
No, and I agree. And I think as geeks, you and I, want to research stuff, want to know more, want to understand, want to talk about these things, and that the average individual doesn't. They just want to keep their head kind of in the sand and let's take all this stuff out of the view of these innocent children so they're not corrupted, and that's easier than actually having the conversation.
No,
so you're right.
And look, and as a parent, it's funny. We went and had my birthday dinner with the in-laws this evening, and at one point, DJ just got his phone under the table, and he's watching stupid YouTube videos. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, stop it, But I mean, you can't keep them from, seeing stuff. But you've got to at least tell them what they can do or can't do.
Well, like we said before, it's about good parenting, about making sure you know what your kids are into, and having that discussion with them. That's really what it boils down to.
Right. If your kid is completely antisocial and is just, not getting into anything, just sitting there screaming at their computer screen all day and there's not a video game on, then you should be worried. If they're reading articles and getting pissed off at an article, that's when you should be worried. Yeah. That's when. If he's screaming, dude, the computer cheats, then I know I'm okay.
Right.
Hey, he's not going to go after Skynet.
Oh, jeez. Did you say today's your birthday?
No, last week was, but we just finally got around to going to have a little birthday dinner.
Well, belated happy birthday, sir.
Thanks.
All right. Well, while we're talking about guns, let's.
Wow, great segue.
Yeah. There's
G.I. Joe?
New G.I. Joe spinoff movie in the works from Paramount and Hasbro. Of course, they've been working on that Snake Eyes movie, that standalone, which I can't wait to see, because is that going to be a silent film?
It is. Right. It's going to be black and white. Yeah, no talkie pictures for him. But no, the whole reason, when I found this article, it was a popular character, and even a friend of ours has cosplayed him.
Oh,
Chuckles.
Yeah.
So he's the Hawaii 5-0 kind of guy. He was like a private investigator / what fancy ass word do they call him?
Infiltrator. Undercover and infiltration work is his specialty.
Right. He was Magnum PI ripoff. I think they had a whole bunch of torsos for Magnum PI dolls that didn't sell, so they just slapped a gun on him and said, "Here you go."
Nice.
Call him Chuckles.
So, yeah, he's going to be in this new production that they're working on. Josh Applebaum and Andre Nemec, who wrote for the recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as well as Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
And that gives me a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
That gives me a little bit of hope that it might not be a giant turd of a movie.
Yeah.
But, I mean, look, I think this would be... After those first two installments of G.I. Joe movies, I thought they were just kind of weird. They were weak. And the second one, I mean, the whole thing about his tanks looked awesome. And then they made them look like stupid ass drones. I mean,
apparently those his tanks are still sitting somewhere in Justin Paris somewhere.
Well, good. I ain't no true G.I. Joe gonna go steal those things. They're pale reflections of a real his tank.
So this was interesting. You threw this article in here about California College offers scholarships to Smash Ultimate players.
Yes, they don't have a coach yet, but they've got money and they're willing to offer scholarships for you to go there and be on their esports team. And they're currently working for a coach.
Yeah, they're $6,000 scholarships over here. Which UCI is the college?
Yeah, Irvine.
Irvine.
Yeah.
Okay. And, yeah, I mean, I think this is really cool. Esports is really making a lot of headway. And the fact that you've got colleges out here giving scholarships for this stuff is incredible. The current team is they don't have the scholarships, but they are competing in a championship for Super Smash Brothers. There's a CSL trophy and a $15,000 prize pool. So... And look, I mean, everything, League of Legends, Overwatch, all that stuff is really coming into its own. It's very exciting. I want
to wrap up Skungy's call. I want to wrap this up, though. But look, Benioff and Weiss, Netflix has been in just a tailspin. Nothing has gone right for Netflix as of late, with Disney Plus just getting everything, the HBO Plus or whatever the hell they're calling it. HBO Max. All right, so that stealing a lot of Netflix's best shows, like The Office and things like that. They're losing a lot of stuff, but they won the battle to get Benioff and Weiss, so they're going to be coming over to Netflix to make a bunch of brand new series after coming off of the Game of Thrones thing. Now, so many people hated season 8 of Game of Thrones. I kind of give them a pass on this simply because they were still working within George R.R. Martin's framework, and they had to get it done. They had to wrap it up, and he did them no damn favors because he couldn't get off of his goddamn ass and finish the book.
Right.
So they made the best of what they could. It wasn't great. It ended. It's over. But now they've got more stuff, and they got Star Wars stuff. So once they're done with their Star Wars trilogy, they are going to be moving over to Netflix full time, and hopefully Netflix won't go belly up by then because they are in a world of hurt.
Yeah, their stock price is down $6.97 on Friday's close at $308.93 a share. So.
Yeah, and it's not looking any better. They've been casting around trying to get all sorts of national or international programming. There's a huge influx of like Bollywood kind of stuff all over Netflix. All right, let's get out of here. Skungy won't stop calling.
All right, guys, stay tuned. When we get back, we'll have our boy Skungy and his pick of the week. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktieTans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at W&Q's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
Remember the 60s? We conquered the world, we conquered the moon, and we conquered rock and roll.
Tapfer, kleiner Liebling, weiter weg, als ich es mag.
Now, for the first time ever, Neumond Recordings presents Neumond Classics, a super collection of all the biggest stars.
London boys sind so schlau.
So put on your favorite blue jeans and take a trip with us back in time to the 1960s.
Ich mach mich auf den Weg zu einem Autohändler.
Remember the soldier singer Hans? He sure knew how to burn rubber.
Kleiner Volkswagen, der macht
You
es
have no
nicht
idea
mehr.
what this is,
No,
do you, Brian?
what are we doing?
You'll hear chart toppers.
You don't know these great songs?
No.
You should. Skungy sure as hell does. Skungy, what's shaking, baby?
Yeah. Not a whole lot, gentlemen. What? I have no idea what was going on.
Oh, come on now. I just throwing a monkey wrench in here. But this is Neumann Recordings. This is all the great rock and roll from the Nazi regime in Wolfenstein, yeah?
Oh, all
yeah,
right.
you see what I did there, Yankee?
All right, that's cool.
Silly Yankee.
All right, well, I guess that reveals what Skungy's covering this week.
Well, yes, I am covering Wolfenstein or Youngblood because what is better than shooting Nazis in the face?
Listening to their horrible propaganda music.
Oh, jeez.
Exactly. So this is the I would say in the modern era of Wolfenstein, this is the third installment.
Yes.
Because of the Blazkowicz trilogy, if you would.
That is correct, because this one's in the 80s, right? Because I actually had it was an hour long, Brian, but it was an hour long of all the Nazi propaganda 80s hits you could possibly think of.
Oh, wow.
So like 99 Luftballons, yeah?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, put it on loop, yeah? Sorry.
Well, this one, it's set in the 80s and set in Paris mostly. Now, in this one, you are playing B.J. Blazkowicz's daughters. Now, B.J. Blazkowicz is the protagonist from Wolfenstein: The New Order and the Old Blood and Wolfenstein 2, the new
Colossus.
The one that came out.
Yeah, the new Colossus.
New Colossus. Now, these are his twin daughters that you can go on YouTube and you can see the video on like the backstory and everything, because this actually just assumes that you know everything that's happened in the past couple of games, which is cool because a lot of times you don't need to know a lot of that backstory to play. In this one, you really don't. All you know is they're twin daughters, their father has gone missing, and you're going to go find him.
Wow, that sounds about right.
Cool.
Yeah. So with all the Wolfenstein games, like I said, shooting Nazis in the face.
Not just shooting them though. You can burn them. You can blow them up. You've got little guns that like you put it on them and then you can blow them up later. The little bleep bleep bleep, and then you just push the button and blow them up as they're walking along.
Can you stab them?
Of course you can.
Oh
stab
God, you
them.
can stab them. Oh
you
my
do
God,
anything, man.
You can stab them.
They're very creative in their Nazi slaughter.
All right.
Yeah, and that's actually when you stab them. That's one of the parts with the stealth missions of the game. And this, like many other Wolfenstein games, you kind of rely heavily on stealth because you don't want to alarm everybody, so you want to take out as many of them as you can stealthily before you actually start just like shooting everybody in the face with a bazooka.
Well, so, take away all my fun.
When you take them out, you take them out like sometimes with a knife or sometimes with a hatchet, and it can get very, very bloody.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Now,
this is cathartic for me.
Right.
Now, this new one, it brings something new to the table. So since you're playing his twin daughters, you play, if you want to, this entire game co-op. For the first time, you have co-op gameplay in a Wolfenstein game.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. That's nifty.
And a lot of the levels are actually made up to be played co-op. Now, you can play the game completely single player if you want to, and they have an AI bot for the person, or you can play with a friend on the couch, or you can play on the internet with even randos.
Nice.
But a lot of the levels seem to be made up with co-op in mind. Like, you go down this corridor, I'll go down in this corridor, and we'll meet in the middle kind of gameplay.
That's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Now, that means that you would need to have a friend, Dave.
Well, I'll rent a friend for an hour or two.
You'll rent a friend for an hour.
Is it, when you say co-op, is it like split screen?
It's going to be split screen, or if you're online, you'll have, obviously, you'll have one screen and somebody else will, but you can do couch co-op. Now, One cool thing about this in the game, when you're playing later on, if you get the deluxe version of the game, it comes with a code, which is something that more games need to do in co-op games. This code is that you can give to a friend so they can play the game with you, and they don't have to actually buy the game. You use the code, they can play.
Shut up.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, It just costs $10 more from the original price of the game to get that game with that code. So, I mean, you don't have to worry about, you have to go buy the game, I have to go buy the game. No, just one person buys the game.
Oh, my God, I love this.
Yeah, it's nifty.
Now I need to find a friend with the game.
Oh, geez.
Now it got even harder.
Yeah. Now, some of the cool things about this game is they've got perks. Like, you do emojis. Now, when you play multiplayer games, a lot of times you'll, like, press a button and it does, like, a wave or a hi to someone. Well, it actually does something for your character. It gives you a buff, like plus 25% armor or more ammo, or gives you more health.
Damn.
So it does that, like, in my opinion, something very, very stupid in games where it's like, oh, look, hi, I'm here. Oh, hey, you're here. And you wave to each other's character. Well, it actually does something now.
Hi. That's cool. That's new.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, and you get to, up. Now this one's got leveling up system where you're going to upgrade your character, where you can upgrade, you have more health or more armor, or you're able to do other special abilities, or you're able to stealthily take down bigger enemies and stuff like that. And you can also upgrade your emojis, like the emojis that you had where you do and get different buffs, or like you get more, like maybe 25 or 50% more other than 25%. But you can also upgrade your weapons like you would in the other Wolfenstein games by giving yourself more, more ammo, more damage, stuff like that.
All right.
But you do that with all of your, experience points. That being said, there are some problems with this game.
Okay.
You can go to any zone in the beginning of it. It's kind of got like this whole open world bit to it, which is cool, but you can't actually do everything in every part of the world until you level up more. So it kind of makes you think like you can go everywhere, but you can't. So I think that's kind of a tease. Because I'm going to go over here and do this. Well, there's no reason for you to go over there. So you spend like an hour going over there trying to do stuff, and you can't because you haven't leveled up hard enough yet.
It sounds like they're artificially upping the playtime there. Like, hey, let's just send them on wild goose chases all over the place, and it'll take longer.
The main story is 12 to 15 hours. Now, if you add all the side quests, you get about like maybe another 10 hours. But some of that time, like I said, is going off trying to find out, like, I can't go to this area.
Yeah.
The other, like, really, this, like, makes you want to break the controller. If you go to a specifically hard area and you get killed, you go back to the previous checkpoint. Well, you go back to the previous checkpoint with the amount of ammo you had when you died.
Dang!
Wow.
That's harsh. That's harsh.
That is something, that's something, anybody who's played a first-person shooter or anything like that, that makes me just want to go, screw it, I'm done,
Wow. That reminds me of way back in the day, saving yourself into a corner, not doing, the save early, save often in PC games, and then putting yourself in a corner that you can't get out of. You have to just start the whole game over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like almost like, hey, I just want to restart this chapter altogether, which sometimes sucks because you play like 40 minutes just to get to that boss. So, that's another hour of gameplay that you just kind of threw away. But like I said, it does have some good stuff. It's got the drop-in, drop-out co-op that you can play on the fly. And here's one really cool thing. If you jump into if your friend's game, all your progression in your friend's game goes back to your single-player game.
All right.
Wait, say it again?
So, like, if you go through, like, you jump into your friend's game and you level up and you go back to your single-player game, you're going to be that level. It's not going to say, oh, you just did that in co-op there. No, you get to take it back to the single-player.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have two different levels.
It's got pros and cons. I mean, and when it boils down to it, I mean, it's a Wolfenstein game. So you're shooting Nazis, like I said, and you're having a good time. It's not as good as the previous. It's not as strong story-wise either as New Colossus and the New Order. It's not as strong there. But with the co-op, it's still fun because you can play with a friend. The twins, even though they're entertaining, there's nothing like groundbreaking there with their story.
Okay.
But here's the kicker for it. Now, price and platform, the game comes out on all platforms. It's on, PlayStation, Xbox, it's on the Switch as well. It's $29.99.
Shut up.
Okay, that's not bad.
Seriously?
So, yeah, it's $29.99. Now, if you want that deluxe version that comes with the code so your friend can play, it's $39.99. So it's still kind of worth it just for that. You're not paying a $60 price point for it.
Yeah, can I buy the code afterwards if I find a friend later?
No, you just don't use the code. You can buy the deluxe and not use the code.
I don't want to spend the money if I don't have a friend. I mean, it's a lot of work finding a friend.
Well, maybe you can use this wonderful thing called radio to find someone that would be a friend of yours.
Okay, well, I don't feel like I'm too lazy to open the lines. I'm not feeling friendly today.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
But like I said, it's fun. It's not as solid as the other entries in it, and it's got some flaws, mainly that ammo thing, which that's just unforgivable.
Yeah. No,
I don't know. That's kind of a bleep hole thing to do, and I dig it.
But the co-op really the co-op is fun, and there's a lot of things that you have to do, like simultaneously. Like we have to enter the code in at the same time in order to progress.
And then turn the key at the same
interactive.
time. Yeah. All right. So, Brian, you look like you want to say something, no?
No. I mean, it sounds cool. I like the price point, you know.
I'm Hans. And I am Franz.
Well,
and we
yeah.
just want to pop. You are.
Oh, geez.
Sorry. Okay.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, Skungy, you're fired because you made me play that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, good. All right, get out of here.
Thanks, Skungy. We'll see you next week.
Go
welcome,
find me a friend.
All
I
right.
will go find you a friend.
And then loan me $10. All right, get out of here.
All right, gang. When we get back from these short commercial messages, our interview with Remy Domino Cosplay and ineedsugar Cosplay. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
ProSe Productions is a leading independent publisher on the cutting edge of new pulp and genre fiction today. At ProSe Productions, you'll find fiction featuring fast-paced action and adventure, larger-than-life protagonists, over-the-top characters, and tight yet extravagant plots. ProSe specializes in prose books, anthologies, audiobooks, and more. Go to prose-press.com to find our monthly release schedule and more info about our great titles. ProSe Productions is your first-rate publisher of new pulp fiction today.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today. Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Hello, this is Chris Walken. If you've got a hankering for more cowbell, you can get it on The Week in Geek. Come on.
This is Brian Held of the Week in Geek Radio Show on News Talk 99.5 WRNO, and we're out here at Jesse Broughton and Tyler Gillespie's wedding with two incredible individuals, Remy Domino Cosplay and ineedsugar. How's it going, Jeremy?
We're doing fantastic, although we are melting.
ineedsugar?
It's hot, but the drinks are cold. It's a great night.
So one of the things that's interesting about what's going on right here is this is a cosplay wedding. Remy, tell me about this. Like, how does this happen? Is this a normal wedding occurrence?
Maybe for our family it is, but I would say no. It's a little bit rare as far as regular weddings go, but it's a very special experience. So, we've got a great group of friends, a lot of talented people, and, this is a community where we've all come together. It brings us together, the costuming and the cosplay and the different culture, and it gives us a safe space. So to get to, see two of our really good friends, to tie the knot, and for us to all be in cosplay, which in all honesty is the way most of us met, it's just a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Now, ineedsugar, I'm gonna ask you because I've seen you before on the normal Con Crunch, right? You ladies do such fantastic costumes.
Oh man!
How much Con Crunch has this event had for you?
Well,
I'm not going to say we were sewing in the car, but we were sewing in the car.
Oh, man.
It was a 5-hour drive, so at about 4 a.m. last night, I was like, the buttons can go on the vest in the car.
But I was like, oh, God, I got to at least get the buttonholes in before we go to sleep. And somewhere around 5 a.m., I was like, I can't get it to work because I put the buttonhole thing on the right. It was a nightmare. I had to look up a YouTube video at 5 in the morning. The point is, I look fantastic right now.
Oh, yeah, you do. I mean, this wig came right out of the bag. I took it out, trimmed the lace, put it on, and now we're here. I don't even know what it looks like on my head, but, I feel great.
I mean, the wig tape might melt off your forehead.
What wig tape?
Exactly.
I got rid of the wig tape like half an hour after we got here.
You would never even know.
It's gone.
So, one of the things that I'm most excited about is catching up with you two. Of course, Remy Domino Cosplay, ineedsugar. Combined, we are Domino Sugar. And you both are the Best in Show champions from this recent Mechacon that we were at. Yeah.
We're the reigning champion because we won last year as well. So I think now we have to retire, I believe, now.
We do. It is custom that after 2 Best in Shows at Mechacon, you retire for at least, I think, 3 years.
I believe that's the rule, yes. So but that was a really big win for us. We had been challenged by some friends of ours to see whether we could win 2 years in a row. And we were like, bring it.
Now she says that, but in actuality, we were cowering in our little craft rooms, terrified, thinking, we're going to let them down. They're going to be so disappointed.
6 straight weeks of pain and suffering, but it paid off in the end. I mean, even if backstage I had my head between my legs, they're like, Remy's going to be okay. And I'm like,
Absolute meltdown. Absolute meltdown. It was beautiful. I'm not a strong person. I'm a delicate flower. However, Remy needed someone. And I was like,
normally the way it is, because normally I'm I do not care. I am a leaf in the wind, and Rebecca's freaking out, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. But no, for this, it was just so much pressure. I was just like, oh my God, everyone is depending on me to do this thing. It was terrible.
It was a great deal of pressure, and we really didn't give ourselves enough time. I can't stress that enough. We were supposed to start with 2.5 months. And then we were like, hey, look, a pretty thing. Do you want to make that and go to a convention we didn't plan?
Absolutely. I love this fan art I found on the internet. Let's make this instead. Oh, God, now we're 4 weeks behind.
Yeah, it was kind of an absolute meltdown. We got back from the con and we were like, yay, that was so fun. Oh, no. What have we done?
What have we done? Why are we like this?
So our still photographer for the show, Don Cooper, did capture some images of you ladies on stage getting that Best in Show award. What costumes were you wearing that folks can go check out on our Facebook page?
I was wearing a Shaoran and...
Oh, and I was 5D Flowrite. They're from Tsubasa Chronicles, a beautiful work by Clamp. It's special to both of us. Yeah. It was one of our very early reads when we were otaku getting into manga. And ironically, about 10 years ago, each of us cosplayed these characters without ever knowing each other. And so we thought this year, what should we make? I said, man, you remember that one time you were that thing?
And I was like, yes, I do remember that one time I was the thing. It was terrible. And we were like, let's do that thing better.
And it was maybe like a week and a half into production where we were like, you know what would be great? Let's just switch characters right now. Right now.
We did, literally, we had already almost fitted the full coat for 5 for me before we were like, this is dumb, let's swap.
Well, I'm guessing that in some instances, that crunch, right, that last-minute decision actually fuels you to get it done better, right?
Oh, absolutely. There was this great sense of teamwork. I can't tell you, I can't stress it enough, that it's very important. I'm about to get sappy. It's very important to have a partner you can depend on when you are working in a team. It is vital. And I did all of our sewing. Remy did all of our prop work with a little logistical assistance from one of our team members.
Turtle Hazard,
yeah. Who was mostly there in the workshop just screwing things together. But
and he also helped with some 3D printing, some design things, and some of the more technical things where I'm like, how do drill into this?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an invaluable resource. I love him to death. That's why I'm going to marry him in October. However, it was absolutely priceless to look over and see Remy working on a staff I would carry and say, okay, I'll see it when it's done. You're going to do great. I believe in you. And she would come in and say, what are you working on? I'm like, I don't know, your pants and stuff. And she would say, that's great. Call me in when you want me to put them on. And that was it. We didn't need
It's a complete and utter, like, trust that you have to have in your teammates. And, you know, kind of just knowing that, like, okay, that you're better at this thing than I am, so...
And that's okay.
Yeah, and that is fine. And it's just knowing that, like, okay, this is... Especially in a team environment where you're like, okay, we didn't give ourselves enough time. We have to divide and conquer. It's one of the reasons we swapped characters, because we realized it was going to work out better as far as, like, our height and body type and just style.
And not just that, it was skill sets we were majorly more comfortable with. Fi's coat and his staff are at the core wearable art pieces. They are clothing pieces I can't wear at all without help. I have a handler for the coat alone and a handler for me. And we both had to put in twice as much work on Fi as we both put in for Shaoran.
That's true. And because I mean, honestly, the staff that I made for her is probably my most complicated single piece that I have ever created, just as like a single solid piece. And like
it was witchcraft.
You gotta have like a team that you totally believe and trust to be like, okay, this is because it was for her costume, not mine. I'm like, I'm gonna put this because we're a team and I want her to look beautiful. And like the clothing that she sewed for me was
I tried so much harder on your pieces than I tried on my own. I was like, man, I can't have Remy's inseam looking all jank. I have to fix this. This has to be right. Or else I'm not putting it on her body.
Oh, your staff looks better than mine for sure. Because I was like, I will never give you anything to be embarrassed about.
The judges nearly stole the pants off your body.
They were very, very impressed. It was very good. But yeah, it's very important. And, you know, we had some feedback from friends. Quirky Penguin.
She is the most... I can't stress enough how important it is to have that outsider opinion. Who comes in and says... Why on earth are you doing it that way? That's miserable. Do this.
Oh, we literally stared at each other in Sugar's kitchen, and we were like, oh my God, you're right.
Like, seriously, we had been staring, somewhat crying, 2 bottles of wine in at one problem in particular each. And finally, she was just like, why don't you just... Swap.
And we just kind of looked at each other like...
We had a moment. We cracked open the champagne. We broke out the cheese board. It was a celebratory night. Absolutely.
It was definitely high-pitched screaming in my brain going, though, why didn't I think of that myself? And sometimes that, like, third-party opinion is, like, absolutely invaluable to have somebody else tell me, like, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Absolutely. And you need an outsider opinion. You get so deep in the woods, you can't see the trees. So... that's in a lot of ways something that we benefit from is having a great think tank of friends and individuals in this community that we're here with tonight who give us feedback that we can't give ourselves.
Like every single person here, as a cosplayer, we feed off of each other as creators and as a family. And like Jesse and Tyler, I've competed with them before. And let me tell you, that was an amazing experience.
That was the Loki, Thor, and Sif, right? You're talking about?
Yes, that was Wizard World, God knows how many years ago. I've known them for so
eternity.
long. I know. It's like, I can't even remember how long I've known them now. And that was an amazing experience to get to collaborate with, so many talented people who have so many different talents and specific abilities. So, like, every project I work on is something new. And, like, every cosplayer I get to work with is something new and fun. And, like, of course, Jesse and Tyler's style is very different than my own. So, like, to get to work with them, and much like our friendship, over time, and why their marriage works so well is because it is a collaboration, and we're all here today to celebrate them.
Absolutely.
And that's what cosplayers are. We're a community, and we all love each other.
Absolutely. You can probably hear how fun it is behind us.
Absolutely. And speaking of celebration, we need to get back to it, and we need to get to some commercial breaks. So, ineedsugar, you are new to the show. We haven't had you on before. So give me your social media. How can folks find you out on the web?
Absolutely. I just started a Twitter. I'm really excited about it. I'm an old lady. My Twitter is ineedsugar Cos. My Instagram is ineedsugar31. And my Facebook is ineedsugar Cosplay. I also have a website at ineedsugarcosplay.com. And I'm always open to emails, chats, answering your questions. I'm here. I'm a resource. Please take my advice.
Awesome. And Remy, of course, you've been in studio before, but go ahead and give me all that social media again.
All right. Well, my Twitter, I actually changed it since the last time I was on. So now that's Remy Domino. My Instagram is Remy Domino Cosplay, which is the same as my Facebook, Remy Domino Cosplay. And same as Sugar, you can message me at any time. It might take me a little while to get back to you because I have a rather strenuous, like, real person, Matt Murdock kind of job. But I will get back to you eventually. If you have any questions or you need some support, like, please message me because I am here for you as a resource. And
we'll support the heck out of you.
Heck yes. Heck yes.
Awesome. Well, ladies, thank you so much for taking the time. We're going to get back to that party.
Oh, yeah. Let's go. I'm ready.
Time for drinks and fun.
Let's go dance.
Dancing.
All right, guys, stay tuned. After these short commercial messages, we'll get back to more of The Week in Geek. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at W&Q's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Mata Hari, Agent H21, is a spy fiction short story anthology about the famous dancer, seductress, and spy from World War I. Mata Hari, Agent H21, published by Pro Se Productions, has 7 rip-roaring adventure tales about the world-famous super spy that features her battling her enemies by using any weapons at her disposal. Mata Hari, Agent H21 is available for purchase in ebook and paperback formats on Amazon.com.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
This is Captain Rex, troopers, and you're listening to The Week in Geek. Now move out!
Welcome back into The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm D Squared along with
Brian Held.
Now, as always, we want to strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Follow us on Twitter at The Week in Geek. The Instagrams, The Week in Geek. And I lost track of the spiel, Brian, because I wanted to say 15,000 likes, Brian.
Yes, that's true.
15,000 likes.
Yeah, no, we're really killing it on a Facebook page.
So now where can people hear this lovely show?
Well, if you missed any part of tonight's show or you want to catch your favorite part again, you can always find us on Spreaker.com or download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. We're also on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app,
and your mama's house.
This week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future! Yes! Oh my God!
This week in Geek History is brought to you by Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, read by Brian Held. Available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. This week in Geek History.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
Ba-na-na, da-na-na.
So, wow. Remy Domino Cosplay is in the car right now, headed home from that wedding, and she just caught the interview. It was kind of cool.
It's amazing. She didn't curse in it at all.
I know. Good stuff. All right, first item on my list is August 5th, 1993. Sees the general release of Magic the Gathering, the collectible card game, yes.
Dun, dun, dun. and then everyone was poor.
Yeah, and I'm still kicking myself because I remember when the box showed up at my friendly local game shop, and I was like, yeah, I'm playing Warhammer. I don't want to.
Right, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I think I got in around right before Fallen Empires, after Fallen Empires. I think there were already like 3 expansions in. And so, like, already, dual lands and lotuses were all worth like a small fortune and a firstborn.
Yeah, but of course, now you and I got in big on that Vampire the Masquerade card game.
Yes, that was a poor investment, Brian.
It was a solid game. It's just nobody played.
Right.
But all right, next.
Thanks, sir. Give me a nice paper cut and pour some lemon juice in it later.
All right. Well. While we're getting sad over here, here's another sad one. August 6th. Is it 2010, I believe? My notes are messed up. But Curiosity, the rover, audibly played Happy Birthday to You in honor of the 1-year Earth mark of its Martian landing. The first time for the song to be played on another planet.
Ooh.
It's also the first time music was transmitted between 2 planets. And it also marks the loneliest birthday in the solar system, Dave.
Aww.
Yes.
Poor little guy all there by himself. But no, I mean, like, we all know he's there. They responded, so, it's not totally lonely.
Well, right, of course. All right. This one's kind of fun. Let's see. August 7th, 1981. Let's see if you can guess this animated flick. Starring John Candy, Eugene Levy, Marilyn Lightstone, and Harold Ramis. That's all the voices that were in this animated movie from 1981.
God. John Candy, Harold... I have no clue.
Heavy Metal.
They were not.
They were absolutely in it, yeah. You don't remember the... John Candy was in the scene with the aliens who were on that big goofy-looking ship that looked like a big smiley face, and they were snorting all the, space drugs and stuff through the nostril out of their head or whatever.
Right.
That was John Candy's voice in that, yeah.
Okay, and now I know.
And no one's half the battle.
Yo,
all right. August 8th, 1999. Sees the end of its original release for Mystery Science Theater 3000 with its last episode, Danger Diabolic.
Have you watched any of the new ones?
On Netflix?
Yes.
I have not.
Neither have I.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard a whole lot of, hubbub about like, oh, it's recaptured the essence. And I mean, I've heard a little bit of it. I mean, Felicia Day was in it. So, I mean.
Patton Oswalt, too, I believe.
Yeah, and I'm surprised you haven't because you've got this whole man crush on Patton Oswalt and quote him ad nauseum on road trips.
I can't stop.
I know. It's physically painful to me.
Oh, jeez. I just find so much appropriate stuff that it relates to.
You've listened to it 80 million times.
I have. It's bad.
Eddie Murphy's Raw. I find things that I can associate with that all the time, too. It's just not safe for radio.
Yeah, you're right. It's not. All right, next item on my list. August 9th, 1992. Midway Amusement Games releases Mortal Kombat Version 1 to arcades across the United States.
Well, my uncle's already passed away, so I'm not like he won't hear this and get mad. But back when I was passing out menus for him as a kid, they had one at the Elmwood, the Elmwood Clearview thing. Okay. It was like it was a strip mall,
right?
But they had it there. I would go there, just leave all the menus in the car, and just play Mortal Kombat for 2 hours, and then go in and be like, "Yeah, I dropped some off in the Elmwood Industrial Park area. Yeah, hopefully we'll get some calls."
Oh,
lie.
Oh man! All right, for my last one, it's really old. You ready?
Okay.
August 10th, 1675. The foundation stone of the Royal Greenwich Observatory in London is laid by King Charles II, and it is best known as the location of the prime meridian, which gives its name to Greenwich Mean Time.
Oh.
There you go.
Wow, and now I know.
Yes, you learned something.
I not really.
All right, you ready for birthdays?
Sure.
All right, on the 5th, Jessica Negri. She's a cosplayer. She did voiceover in Ruby. On the 6th, Ty Simpkins. He was the little kid in Iron Man 3.
Oh, my God, really?
Yeah. On the 7th, Dave Duchovny.
Yeah.
On the 8th, Katie Leung. She was Cho in Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And also another X-Files on the 9th, Gillian Anderson. And then on the 10th, Brenton Thwaites. He is from, what is it? Titans. He's Dick Grayson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like David Duchovny in Evolution was the best movie ever.
Yeah.
Best movie ever.
All right, so for next week, I think I'm actually off.
What?
Yeah, I don't think I have any nerd plans next weekend. I might.
That's crazy.
I know it's crazy talk. I might actually be able to sleep in.
Wow.
But I'm trying to book Legion M to come on the show, talk about the film production work that they're doing. So we're going to see if I can get that sorted out by next week.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.
Gets News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM New Orleans anywhere on our free iHeartRadio app.